We have made it to our first stop. Truck is running excellent, trailer's doing excellent. We are at the John Deere Tractor and Engine Museum in Waterloo, Iowa. Charlie and his boy are already heading right on in. His boy is wearing a John Deere hoodie, and me, as a sign of protest, flip you around, I am wearing my JI Case hat as a sign of protest. I don't know if they'll let me record in here, but if they do, I'll bring you guys along. Hit the thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video so far. Right at the entrance is a 4010 diesel. It's nice to see. Tricycle front end. We're about to go inside. We're kind of stretching our legs outside just for a minute. They've already had snow up here and it's melted off. Good looking old tractor. The very first thing you see, we are in Waterloo, Iowa, is the Waterloo boy. I was mistaken. I thought I had been here before when I was about 12 years old, maybe 15, but that was down in Davenport, Iowa, at the pavilion. It's good to see these old rigs being appreciated. Just a slow little walk around about it. Beautiful wood floor. I'm guessing the drawbar was redone. I'm sure she was well used when they found her. And there's the history if you'd like to pause the video. 15.98 drawbar horsepower. That's cool. This is the John Deere Museum, Waterloo, Iowa. Let's go see what other stuff we can find. We have the entire theater to ourselves, and the 8 or 10 minute video is going to start in just about 4 minutes. So that's pretty awesome to see. In the back of the theater here, Charlie made note that this hit and miss engine was made in Champaign, Illinois. You can pause the video if you'd like to read that. This is made just not too far from us, so that's kind of cool. Beautiful old hit and miss engine. And then right over here, they have one on a steel running gear. Would be awesome to see these popping away back in the day. Gorgeous to see this old equipment. I think I've already said it, but it's awesome to see it being appreciated and maintained and not just taken to the scrapyard. The show's about to begin. As soon as this is over, we'll go see what else we can find throughout the museum. We'll bring you along. This is a replica of the first plow that started it all. It's kind of incredible. Very cool to see. Let's keep moving through the rest of the museum. A John Deere 1B corn sheller. Had several of these come through my hands over the years. Kind of cool to see. Charlie is doing the plow demonstration. If you push down on the plow, you're supposed to keep the light green and it will fight you. We had a lot of fun on the horsepower demonstration. You read this here, and you have different weights you have to pull up. That was a lot of fun with Charlie's boy. We kind of have the whole museum to ourselves. They've turned on a demonstration there. Quite a large, heavy hit and miss engine, I assume. Man, that is a beast of a thing. just the flywheels are, I'd say, 4 inches thick on the outer flat part of them. Here we have the check row planter and the binder here. Pretty incredible to see, you guys. You guys got to come out here. We're moving on to the Waterloo section. Have another Waterloo boy. We have some more hit and miss engines. Horizontal, a vertical here. Then we have a Waterloo boy with the big bulbous exhaust. I always liked these myself, the big bulbous exhaust. I would say this is a reproduction, as clean as it is. No pitting from heating over the years. Gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. Love the gearing as well. Be sure not to touch it. Wow. Let's move on to the tractor section. Not sure if this will continue throughout the museum, but here you can see we're at 1912, 1918, 1918 again. We're moving on as we go around. We have quite a few tractors to look at. I won't show you guys everything. You guys got to get out here yourselves before this stuff disappears. I don't know if John Deere would ever close something like this, but I would rather be safe than sorry. Let's put it that way. Here we have an original John Deere. Not sure on the model. On steel. It's incredible to see. Even way back then, they were having some clamp-on duals made. That's kind of a joke, but that would have gave you a lot less ground pressure. Would have gave you a little wider footprint. Dare I say it, that could be the original clamp-on dual. It's cool to see an original in here. I would say these are possibly reconstruction. They're awfully clean. You can still see some grind marks on them. I would think they would be more worn if they aren't. Let me know in the comments. I don't know if they even reproduction anything like that. Cool to see. A gorgeous John Deere power unit. Says it's a W engine. Bears resemblance to that right there. So it could be a W. I'm not sure. I don't really know a lot about green, so feel free to comment below. This is interesting. I do remember a Classic Tractor Fever video about the spokers, I think, which is where they had that spoked flywheel, where this is the more solid flywheel. Interesting. We still have a lot to look at. Got an orchard over there. We even have some army. I'm not sure what this guy is. An industrial of some type. Beautiful Model A on steel with the cultivator still attached. And it even has the canvas radiator flap. Pull that down in the wintertime to keep it warmer, I would assume. This is a lot of fun, guys. Getting to see this old iron resting. That's a gorgeous old tractor. We have a Model GM on steel. Just kind of panning up and down, taking it all in, trying to bring you guys along on the adventure. Very cool to see. Has the cast shoes on there. That is interesting. Didn't know that they made them out of cast. Like I said, I'm not really a John Deere guy. I always liked the embossed letters on the rear axles there. That always kind of tickled me. We've got a smaller one to move on to, and I think that's the end for steel. We're going to be on rubber from here on out, I believe. One of the cutest little tractors so far is the Model BN, 1936, 12 horsepower. Has the little canvas flap in the radiator, has a radiator guard on it as well. And I always really enjoyed seeing the single tricycle front tire. I've seen more of these down in like Texas and Oklahoma, things like that. That is a gorgeous little tractor. I would say I am eye level with the steering wheel. So it's not a big thing by any means. John Deere general purpose. Not that this is a big tractor by any means, again with the embossed John Deere lettering, but that would make a man out of you driving that sucker all day long. Steel seat, no back support, straight steering wheel, levers. Wow. We have a gorgeous John Deere 50 here, single front tire, 1955. I think, I could be mistaken on this, this would be around the vintage of the M, I think, the Farmall M. Don't know a lot about Farmalls either, but I'm just bringing you guys along on the adventure today. We're starting to move into a PTO, power takeoff. We've lost our embossed rear axle. Starting to make them a little more utilitarian. We're starting to get a much better seat. Trying to improve the operator comfort where possible. It was still an open station tractor after all. Still would have been a long, hard day sweating on this old girl. But beautiful to see nonetheless. We have our first propane in the lineup. This is a Model 60 LP Orchard. You can see there. Like the front tires, I always liked those with the corrugated outer ribs. Low profile. Everybody loves to see all the contours on the Orchards. Kind of make them look like a rocket ship, in my opinion. I don't know that I would ever want one. It's got the low slung rear seat, drawbar. Could be an original drawbar. I do see some wear. That has some wear on it, so could be original. Interesting. Gear shifter slung to the side. That's quite a bit different there. Interesting machine. Let's move over to this one with the umbrella on it. Have a John Deere B here. It's got the big chrome stack. This one was redone by the FFA. It's got the badge there. Gorgeous machine. Here's some very interesting wall hangers and a huge embossed John Deere sign. Not sure if that's fiberglass or cast. Pretty neat. Let's move on. We've got a few more things to look at, including a Army unit and then that industrial over there. We've moved on to what I assume is a U.S. Navy John Deere tractor. Take a look right there. 1972, heavy duty cast. It's got the tie down eyes, all heavy duty. That's 3/4 of an inch iron on there. CBs. That's quite a cool decal. It's got the big brass tag on it. This is pretty indicative of military tractors. Transportation instructions for the tie downs. That's pretty cool. It's got the industrial tires, of course. Has a generator mounted on the back, right off the PTO, behind this shield. That's cool to see. And then an on-off. It's got a twin stick transmission. Not sure that I've seen much of that. There's the John Deere tag down there, and more beautiful brass tags, like I said, indicative of the U.S. Army, or Navy in this case, I believe, tractors. Here we have the John Deere BI for industrial. Pardon the shadow there. Quite a gorgeous little rig. It's a stubby little fella. 1/2-inch plate on the front. I love that yellow. Heavy steel welding right to the frame. Has quite a winch on the back of it. Like I said, it is a narrow, stubby little thing. But I do love the yellow. Heck of a winch on it. A form of drawbar there. I would say that's only 5 feet wide, maybe. Cool to see. Really hope this will inspire you guys to come out to this museum. There's a lot to see here. Got just a few more things to check out in this room. Some machinist tools, engines, and then we have some cut engines. You can see the inner workings. We'll bring you along. We're moving on to more of the inner components of the tractors. We have a unit over here stripped down with primer on it, and I believe bare steel or simulated bare steel. We have a line drill press. It's awesome. You can see them operating similar units. Not quite the same, but very close. Would have been thousands and thousands of hours spent in front of this thing, working day in and day out. Heavy duty 3-phase motors. Wow. It's quite a testament to all the tools and the workers that pulled this all off over the years. You've got all the different machine tags. General Electric, gigantic brass tags, embossed. Just gorgeous to see. They really don't make them like this anymore. Detroit Stoker Company. I'd like to have that one just for myself. Gorgeous. Here we have the very large 531 engine. There's a picture here of a 5020. And I think we can demonstrate this by pushing this button here. Oh, I've got to push and hold for you guys. I like to see those pistons going up and down. That's awesome. It's got a big chrome crank in the bottom. That's cool. Got the camshaft turning gears. Fuel injection pump split open. That's really cool. See the lifters opening up, opening the valves. Cool. I love when they do these cutaway engines like this. Timing gears there. Wow. Let's see what else we can find. Before we move on, this was just too cool not to mention. It says, "Please be seated." You can see the different levels of comfort as they went up through the years. That was a pretty popular design right there. That stuck around a long time. Minneapolis Moline had something very similar. But it all started right there on the old steel pan. Crazy. Got just a couple of more things to look at, and then we'll be done with this room. We'll move on in there to the larger rigs. We have a cutaway transmission with the large planetaries. Quite a bit different from the old 310G transmission. Very cool to see. Spline shaft. That ring and pinion gear there. Polished up, shiny as a new penny. Then we move over here, and we are in the assembly phase. We've got raw steel, I'm sure clear coated, so we don't have any rust issues. This is the John Deere 4020 pre-paint. See if I can get you where you guys can read that if you'd like. On steel. I wonder if that would mean that they rolled them through the plant on steel, because obviously there weren't 4020s built on steel, as far as I would know. Or they just have the steel wheels holding it up, just for convenience sake here. We've got some of that pea green primer. That was pretty common with John Deere. I've seen just a few things over the years like that. Like I said, Charles is more the John Deere guy than me. I never cared for him too much. Good tractors and all, I just preferred my Minneapolis Molines over the years. As I was saying there, Charles has let a few green tractors sneak into the collection. It's cool to see. This is what you would have seen rolling through the factory years and years ago. Let's move on. We've just got a couple more machines to look at, then we'll move on to a different room. This is a very large 4020 diesel. I'm guessing by the fenders this is like a Wheatland machine. Haven't looked at the tag yet. 4020 diesel there. It's got that big swept hood everyone loved so much. Big heavy tires. A John Deere 4020 standard. There you can read if you would like. This would be comparable to your Minneapolis Moline Wheatlands, where they have the large swept fenders there. Not really sure why they did that, but they liked them, especially out west. They really liked them. They did a lot of work. This is quite a beautiful sleeping giant here. A definite titan of the industry. When they came out with the 4020, that was a very, very solid tractor. I know a lot of people enjoyed them and continue to enjoy them to this day. I'd say we have the original drawbar as well. Must not have been used too much, that or it's been built up extremely nice. Gorgeous to see. All the way over in that corner is another, I think 20 series, we will go look at now. This is continuing the timeline like I spoke about earlier, and I said this was a 20 series, but it's a 40 series. That's my mistake. We're up to 1953, all the way up to 1977, I assume. Again, I don't know a lot about John Deere stuff. I'm just out enjoying myself, taking a little bit of time off, and I thought I'd bring you guys along. This is a 1961 4010. Trying to stay out of the light so you guys can read the plaques if you'd like. They've got small TVs playing with the old jingles. That's what you're hearing in the background. Gorgeous machine with some kind of a belly mount cultivator lifter, I assume. Pretty machine. Let's keep moving on. We'll go all the way back across the room, and we'll see what else we can find. We have a cute little Lanz Bulldog. This is made from our brethren across the pond. It's a 1956 model 1616. 16 horsepower. It's a cute little fella. Can't be more than 6 feet wide, if that, maybe only 5. Looking again at the Lanz, quite a different setup from what we use over here. Had the lower drawbar attached to the 3-point arms, if you can call that a 3-point arm. Chain system for raising and lowering off of some sort of a PTO coming out the back. Then we have what looks like a PTO down there with the chain detached. I would say that's what powers this gearbox. It's kind of interesting, and like a almost, I want to say like a snap coupler receiver, but it's not quite right for what I assume would be the top link. Interesting machine. Don't remember if I got the plaque or not, so I'm gonna look at it again. Can pause the video if you'd like. It was made in Mannheim, Germany. Very interesting. Gorgeous looking badge on the front, embossed with rivets holding it on. Very vibrant color. Almost looks pink on camera, but it's a beautiful red. Moving on to another John Deere B, the stamped steel frame. Interestingly, when I was about 19 years old, I bought 4 of these from a neighbor. 2 were restored, 2 weren't, kind of like parts units. And Never really got into them, I just moved them on pretty quickly. That was my attempt at jumping into the John Deere lineup. They were fairly reasonable. I think $1,600 a piece for the restored ones, and I don't even remember what the parts units were. They were fairly cheap. This is one where you can get up and take pictures on. My nephew has a picture taken on it. We'll look at its plaque right away. 1951 John Deere B. Now we're moving on to the Sound Guard cab on this 4440. Closer look at the 4440. I know this was a pretty popular model for John Deere as well. Quite a tall machine. I believe this cab type is the Sound Guard cab. I've heard that through the grapevine over the years. Has that bar right in the middle of the windshield. $540 PTO on this one. Not sure if that's one you can flip around or not and have 1,000 PTO. Someone did a beautiful restoration if it's not original. Perhaps it is low hours and original, I don't know. See the big old injection pump there. 4440. Massive front tires as well as rear tires. And plenty of weights stacked on the front. This would be the nose profile coming at you in the field. $1981 4440. Charles just pointed out this is the 2,039,769th tractor that came out in their downtown plant. Make sure you guys can read that. Apologize for the lighting. That is pretty incredible by itself. Trying to stay out of the lighting for you. You can pause and read the plaque yourself. That is definitely a plaque worth reading. 112 horsepower. That's gorgeous. That is a gorgeous, gorgeous tractor. I know I've said that a lot so far. If you've liked the video so far, please consider leaving a like, subscribing for more, things of that nature. We've got just a couple more engines to look at, and that'll be it. Very quickly, we have a little John Deere 112. I know this was a popular machine. Kind of has some die-hard fans. It was a well-built machine, that's for sure. Did a very nice restoration on it. Have a large anvil. It's got to be a 200-pounder easily. And it's got a hardened surface on it. That's cool. My Trenton anvil, that was my grandfather's in my shop, it has a hardened surface as well. It's a Trenton anvil. Got some blacksmith tools, things of that nature. Some memorabilia, if you will. Pedal tractor. That helped them sell the most amount of tractors right here. Get them started young. Just a quick look at a couple of very large engines. We have the 13.5 liter diesel, 425 to 750 horsepower. That's quite a machine right there. Quite a machine. And moving on, we have another big honking engine. Good looking turbo, twin turbo if I'm not mistaken. I think that'll wrap this part up. We're going to go ahead and hit the gift shop up. I'd like to thank everyone for watching as we toured the John Deere Museum in Waterloo, Iowa. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. We'll see you guys next time.